Working 18-hour days, I slipped and I fell. Winter's up and hit me, I had to change well. There's no way to sustain it, you'll crash and burn. Will not be able to work and no way to earn. Change well, and then you can leave. Change well, and your kids you can feed. Turn your life around for the final bell. It's now or never, you have to change well. It's now or never, you must change well. Hello and welcome to another podcast of Change Well. I hope you're having a great start to your new year. Today we begin the first of a 4-part series on why your organization should lead with wellness and fitness. We will follow in subsequent episodes with tips and tricks to get you there. As always in the Change Well podcast, we will pepper our facts with examples, anecdotes, and a little bit of fun. Also, immediately following the main podcast topic, I will provide a separate supplemental update on the goals of my 12-week year plan on Friday. I discussed this in episode 11 just before the start of the new year. You can still request a copy of my plan template, and it's not too late to start your own plan. I will include a link on Friday in the show notes of this supplemental podcast. Now, on to the topic of organizational wellness and my first story. In my early career, I was fortunate to be in the Army. One of the perks of the Army is that you're paid to work out every single day and keep fitness top of mind. Likewise, the Army has weight standards that each soldier needs to meet. It was part of your role description and part of your duty. An unfit soldier will put himself and his unit at risk. I therefore had the pleasure and pain to exercise regularly. Sometimes it was exhilarating. You know, I love singing cadence at the top of my lungs. Here's one of them. Everywhere you go, people want to know who we are, where we come from. That's just a little bit about it. It is exhilarating singing together as a team on a battalion run. But other times it wasn't so exhilarating. You know, I had a lot of trouble passing the obstacle course every year at the academy. Just because I'm such a klutz. And that was always given by the department with a heart, which was our phys ed department. You see, in the Army, exercise and maintaining your weight standard were good, necessary, and part of your job description. While the Army has other wellness areas that it continues to improve upon, they had the fitness component down. My life changed, however, when I left the military and joined the corporate world in the early 90s. Early morning calls replaced my lovely PT. Long hours on the plane and in front of a computer slinging code affected my health. At times, it seemed that fitness and taking care of myself was no longer part of my job description or even opposed to it. Companies and I at the time did not yet see the impact of wellness on work. The drive was for more billable hours and seemingly higher productivity dominated. But the word is seemingly. It wasn't real productivity. This corporate culture, or maybe it was just my take on it, resulted in weight gain, loss of my health, and a decline in productivity over time. Luckily, the corporate culture and my thought processes have changed beginning around 2010. Corporate wellness programs such as those at Google, Microsoft, GE, Salesforce, and my former company Accenture, to name just a few of the top ones, are now focused on fitness and the human aspects of work. I greatly advocate for these programs and credit the wellness programs of my prior company as instrumental in turning my life around. It is why my wife and I started our company, Wellness Leadership. To read about the 5 corporate programs that help restore my health, click the link in the show notes called 5 Corporate Wellness Programs That Saved My Life. A real great title there, right? But it's spot on. Before jumping into my 3 top reasons for investing in the wellness of your employees and the members of your organization, let me give you a few statistics. I got this from a compilation of several sources from the Gapin Institute website, which is also a link in the show notes. First off, companies with highly effective health and wellness programs report 11% higher revenue per employee, 1.8 fewer days absent per employee per year. I think that's undercounted. And 28% greater shareholder returns. Hey, that's a massive ROI. And likewise, in companies that just provide health and wellness support, 91% of their employees say they feel motivated to do their best versus 38% where the company doesn't have anything. 89% of their employees are more likely to recommend their company as a good place to work. For those with nothing, and it's like 17%, according to this website. And lastly, 91% of their employees have a positive relationship with their supervisors versus 54%. I think that's for the supervisors that actively partake in supporting the wellness programs. There's still some outliers in the corporate world, even with those with great wellness programs. Now, expanding upon these facts, let me give you my take on why I think a focus on the wellness of the members of an organization improves an organization's outcomes. These aren't rocket science, but I've seen it, I know it in my heart, and it's true. Later, we're going to give you 15 guidelines from my well-led guidelines that I've established for my company service on managing corporate risk, about how to enact your own wellness programs. And this will be in the next 3 weeks. But here are my top 3 reasons why your organization should focus on wellness. First thing is, when you have well employees, their decision-making prowess is improved. The enemy of all good decisions is stress. Exercise and fitness help relieve stress and keep away fatigue. A simple 20-minute walk will provide a few minutes to clear your mind, allowing you to focus on the problem. Better yet, get up and walk around the office during a phone meeting when things get heated. That in itself will stop you from causing some concern and allow you to reflect on it. The simple step of standing up will shake off the cobwebs that tend to collect during back-to-back calls. And another thing is, don't make back-to-back calls. We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. Second, having a standard fitness program builds camaraderie. The best thing about the Army was the camaraderie. One way it was built was through morning PT. While I am not advocating that each company go on a company run each morning. In some countries that is the culture, but I'm not advocating that. I recommend a common fitness program to build esprit de corps. Such a common fitness program helped me to know my colleagues better through fitness events. We participated in the MS 150. I held an annual veterans walk with our company. And then in addition to that, you can have programs. You can have active rewards programs. And then you can have just like a Fitbit competition. Let me give you an example. One random competition I had with my colleagues, we all formed a Fitbit group, happened on a Saturday. One of my friends started this weekend competition, and we all like had a pool of who would win that weekend. Now sometimes it got a little crazy. We would be walking on there. We would not upload our Fitbit scores up until the last minute and Sunday. And we would we would put little chats, hey, you're slacking, blah, 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 on the Fitbit. But bottom line, this fun banter got everybody to walk at least 10 miles on the weekend. And that just increases health. Now, of course, you need to take care of your family. That's another part of wellness. We'll discuss that. It's part of my ideas. But having these programs, these fitness programs in your organization builds camaraderie. And it allows you to see a person outside the workplace and have fun and understand them better. It does not always have to be fitness. It could be just a get to know you kind of deal, but that's one of them. Lastly, I think the third biggest point, it reduces sick days. Staying fit helps to keep you out of the doctor's office and in yours during working hours. And even if you're not in the office, it keeps you there and productive if you're remote. Research conducted at the Brigham Young University, the Center for Health Research at Healthways, and the Health Enhancement Research Organization, that's a mouthful, suggests unhealthy eating is linked with a 66% increased risk of loss of productivity. In comparison, lack of exercise is associated with a 50% increased risk of low productivity. So, wow, you lose your whole productivity if you do both. So don't do both. You know, my experience bears this out. Before returning to fitness, when I was surviving on peanut M&Ms and working 16 hours a day, I habitually was hit with bronchitis, and at least twice a year I would get pneumonia. Walking pneumonia. I call walking pneumonia because I continue to work. Both resulted in sick days. I continued to work until I went to the doctor and said, you can't work. You need to take a break. Go out. Okay? So both resulted in sick days and loss of productivity when I thought I could work through it. Since returning to my target weight and improved fitness, I'm happy to say I haven't had bronchitis or pneumonia. And I'm telling you, I had 4 bouts of bronchitis at least a year and 2 bouts of pneumonia. You could go down to, well, they wouldn't tell you because they're the doctors, but I'm well known at one particular doctor for going in there for bronchitis. I'm not sure how many days have been saved since I've changed over, but I approximate at least a week a year. I think it's maybe even more. The increase in productivity on those days when I should have been recovering was even more so. And, you know, like an idiot, I drove through and worked despite my illness. Don't do that. So these are the 3 reasons, in my opinion, anecdotally, the 3 top reasons of why every single organization should have a wellness program for their employees. Increased productivity, esprit de corps, and better decisions are key to getting a good effort in the work world. In our podcast over the next few weeks, I will further outline the 15 guidelines for the well-led organization. Until then, if you are interested in an update on a 12-week plan I have established for my improved wellness this first 12 weeks of this year, listen to the supplemental podcast on Friday, January 12th, 2024. Until then, change well.